Good afternoon. We're back with another episode of the Lord of the Rings LCG Progression Series. Today's a card review of Encounter at Amor Din, the adventure pack after Druidan Forest. So let's take a look at the cards. So far I've been a bit underwhelmed by the cards in these adventure packs. Didn't really care for the Outlands. The Monosphere pack was interesting, but I think requires other cards to make it work. So let's see what we got here. The hero is Pippin. 6 threat is good. 2/1/1 is terrible. 2 health is terrible. So if you play him, you're playing him because he's a hobbit or because of his ability. Let's see what the ability is. If each hero you control has the hobbit trait, Pippin gains response after an enemy engages you. Raise your threat by 3. To return it to the staging area. Until the end of the round, that enemy cannot engage you. That is not good. Returning things to the staging area is usually very undesirable. There's a lot of shadow cards that do that, and you're almost never happy to see the shadow cards, because the whole reason that you engage an enemy on purpose with a low threat build in your heroes, and Pippin would be in a low threat build, the whole reason you engage an enemy is because you have a plan for dealing with him, and how would returning him to the staging area help you with that plan? I don't think that ability is good, and without a good ability, he's not a good hero because his stats are terrible. Even with the low threat, that's not enough to warrant running this hero. I mean, unless Hobbit synergy was just insane, but even then you have another choice, which is Frodo. So I guess unless you wanted to make a Monosphere Spirit deck with Hobbits, and you had no other choice to play Pippin, you'd play him. But otherwise, I see this hero not getting played because it's not good. Denethor, 4 cost, 3/1/2. 3 is almost good. 3 health. Denethor gets -1 questing power for each damaged hero you control. Each damaged hero. Damaging heroes happens all the time. Discard Denethor if his willpower is 0 or less. Well, it's a thematic card, but it's not a good one. Because even at full power, he's almost good, but not quite. And he's almost never going to be at full power, at least in my experience. So that's not a good card. I wouldn't play it. Overcosted for what he's going to provide on average. Lord of Morthond. 1 cost, attached to a Gondor or Outlands hero. If each control... Okay, so it's a Monosphere leadership card that lets you draw a card when you play anything off sphere. So this card wants you to play Monosphere leadership and then play lore, spirit, or tactics cards. Allies, not cards. Allies. To draw a card. Well, if you drew 2 cards with this, it would be good. So if you get it out early and you know you're going to be playing at least 2 cards off sphere, 2 allies off sphere, and a Monosphere leadership deck, it's good. There's a cost, which is that it's unique and is therefore going to be a dead card, so maybe it needs to draw 3 cards to be good. It's got a use in a certain kind of deck. It's not a phenomenal card, but I'd put it in a certain kind of deck for sure. If you have a reasonable expectation of playing off-sphere allies in your Monosphere leadership deck, I'd play this card. If you have a Gondor or Outlands hero. So in those circumstances, it could be good. It's not going to be phenomenal, but it'll be good. Book of Eldakar, 4 cost, attached to a tactics hero. Reduce the cost for each tactics hero. Discard to play 1 event card in your discard pile as if it were in your hand. Placing the event on the bottom of your deck I don't think matters too much. But if you're shuffling your deck a lot, I suppose it could come up again. So, Monosphere Tactics deck card that allows you to play, say, Feint again after you've played it. There's a card that does that in Spirit, which is called Dwarven Tomb. But it's not unique. So this is a worse Dwarven Tomb. And Dwarven Tomb can get back any spirit card. It's a worse Dwarven Tomb in Tactics, but only for a Monosphere Tactics deck. I don't expect this would get a lot of use. Maybe if you really... I mean, if it functioned as another feint, but if you draw it and you don't have a feint in your discard pile, then it's useless. I don't expect this would get a lot of use. There could be a use for it in the future. I'll keep it in mind, but right now I wouldn't. I would consider this in a Monosphere Tactics deck. But probably it'd be the first thing that I would cut when a better card comes along. Or if I thought of a better card that I already had. So it's not a great card. It could be a use for it. But so far this AP isn't good. Pippin's bad. Denethor's bad. Lord of Morthond and Book of Eldacar are... Well, Lord of Morthond is good, but only in a certain kind of deck. And Book of Eldacar is okay, maybe, in a certain kind of deck. Pretty weak cards so far. Gondorian Discipline. 0 cost, cancel up to 2 points of damage, just dealt to a Gondor character. Okay, I like it. Yeah. I'd run it in any deck where I'm running a Tactics hero and a Gondor character. Probably Boromir. Be good with Boromir. Maybe even Baragond. Good card. I like it. I'll run it. Not phenomenal, but good. Definitely a contributor. Worth inclusion. In any deck where you expect a Gondor character to be defending. Minas Tirith Lampright. This would allow Baragond to take multiple troll attacks. Almost an indefinite amount. Minas Tirith Lampright. 1001. Okay, so you're playing it for its ability. After an encounter card with Surge is revealed, discard Minas Tirith Lampright to name enemy location or treachery. If the next encounter card is revealed is the name type, discard it without resolving its effects. Wow, what a swingy card. So maybe like 4 out of 10 times that a Surge card comes up, you'll get to discard the next card. But 6 out of 10 times this card will just do nothing. Like literally nothing. You pay 1 force for it. 1 resource for it. I've been watching Star Wars CCG videos. You play 1 resource for it and you discard this for nothing. I mean, I play cards that do nothing occasionally. In my Eagles deck, I played the Eagles Are Coming, and that did nothing, but it did nothing for free. This is a swingy card. It could be phenomenal. I mean, it's worth messing around with, perhaps, because the times that you discard an encounter card that would have wrecked you, and in solo play, that happens a lot. In multiplayer, I don't know if this is good, but in solo play, especially when you get a Surge, sometimes the next card just ends you. And so this could literally be responsible for wins, or at least for preventing losses. Especially if you know the encounter deck, and you know what card specifically could wreck you. Like, you know, okay, in this situation, my allies are vulnerable to the 1 damage card, Treachery, because I already have 1 damage on them, so I'm going to name Treachery as insurance. Or if you know there's a really ferocious location that could come up that you don't want to see, or a really big enemy, and so you name that as insurance, and then you're protected against it after a Surge. I think this card might be good. It's swingy, but the times it's good win you a game. Could win you a game. Or at least prevent you from losing one. And that's my criteria for a swingy or niche card that's not useful all the time. If the times it is useful, it wins you a game or prevents you from losing. And it could some of the time. I might mess around with it and just see if it does what I expect in some situations. Yeah, I like it. I like the idea of it. I don't know if I like it, but I like the idea of it. Small target. 1 cost. After a Hobbit hero you control exhaust to defend an attack, choose another enemy engaged with you and reveal the attacking enemy's shadow card. If that shadow card has no shadow effect, resolve this enemy's attack against the chosen enemy. If that shadow card has a shadow effect, resolve this attack as normal. Okay, that's complicated, but let me illustrate it this way. Let's say Ithilien Archer is defending against Denethor and Pippin. Denethor and Pippin are engaged with you, and Ithilien Archer is defending. Denethor is attacking Ithilien Archer. And we play small target. Well, let's say Denethor is attacking Pippin. And we play small target because he's a hobbit. Then we reveal Denethor's shadow card. And if that shadow card has no effect, then Denethor will then attack Ithilien Archer instead. And if that card does have a shadow effect, then he attacks Pippin as normal and this card does nothing. Hopefully that helps anybody who's struggling with that wording. It's a gamble. If the enemy attacking you has a dud for a shadow card, you can negate the attack entirely. Not only that, but have it attack its buddy. That's another swingy card, but it could be really good. Like I'm imagining, I have Frodo Tank all the time in my Rohan Secrecy deck. And I'm imagining like a boss attack with a Dud Shadow a card that just then attacks a buddy. That could be really good. It could also do nothing. It could also be kind of mediocre. Kind of like Minas Tirith Lamprite. Could do nothing, could be phenomenal. Interesting cards. I like the idea of them. I'd like to mess around with them. Could be very interesting. Could be fun. Hilarious. Could help you with some really tough quests. You have to get lucky, but if you're like losing a lot on a quest, this could help. These two cards could help. Interesting design for spirit cards. Intriguing. Ithilien Archer, 3 cost 1/1, ranged. After Ithilien Archer attacks and damages an enemy, return that enemy to the staging area. Terrible. You almost never want that to happen. Same as Pippin. Why did the developers include this as an ability? That's on a shadow card a lot of the time. No thank you. And it's understated, so apparently this ability is meant to be desirable. I don't think it is. Not good cards. Ithilien Pit. Unless it like combos with something that goes off when you return an enemy to the staging area. Ithilien Pit. Play into the staging area. If unattached, attached to the next eligible enemy that enters. I suppose it could combo with Ithilien Archer or Pippin. But, I mean, the trap would just go off when they enter the first time, right? So no, not really. Any character may choose attached enemy as the target of an attack. Okay, so it doesn't keep them in staging. So presumably if they were going to engage, they're still going to engage. Could this help you, like, against a high threat enemy? Yeah, but you don't get to control who it goes on, so a lot of the time it's going to do nothing. The times that it does something, it could help you take out a high threat enemy that you don't want to attack you. But I don't think that's enough to justify the times it does nothing, so I probably wouldn't play this except as a niche puzzle piece for a particular quest or enemy that I was having trouble dealing with. I might keep this in mind. But otherwise, I wouldn't run it in every deck. It's a niche card. It's a niche card that's not going to win you a game, except in very specific circumstances. So, when a boss is out of play and you know he's going to enter in the next phase of a quest, you could use this and then that way control who it attaches to. No, but you play it during deployment, you're still going to get an encounter card. So not being able to control who this attaches to makes it do nothing a lot of the time. The situation where it wins you a game is too rare to justify its times that it does nothing, so I don't think I'd play this. Hobbit Sense, 2 cost, play only if each of your heroes is a hobbit. Cool. Enemies engaged with you do not attack this phase. You cannot declare attacks this phase. So, okay. That could be good in a deck where you're playing a lot of questing power. There are a number of end game phases to a quest where you just want to run away. You've defeated the boss, you've got extra enemies, your characters are dead or exhausted, you've got a lot of damage on them, and you just need to quest to win. And you need an extra turn to do it. This could be good in that circumstance. This could be good early in helping you deal with it's not got a sphere, it's neutral. Makes it easier to pay for, so this could be good early. When you can't deal with a high-powered enemy, it can help you set up to beat it. I like this card. I think I would run it in a Hobbit deck. It's got enough uses where it wins you a game or saves you a loss that I would run it. I could be wrong. It could be outplayed and not like it, but I like the idea of it, and I'd run it in a Hobbit deck. I haven't seen a good Hobbit deck yet, but I feel like that's the direction they're trending in with this AP. If this is all the Hobbit cards we get, then bleh. But if they're trending in the direction of giving us more Hobbit cards, that's great. But then I thought they were trending in the direction of giving us more Outlands cards, and that hasn't really been the case, nor with more Gondor cards. So, you know, maybe there aren't going to be any more Hobbit cards. We'll see. But I like the idea of this for a Hobbit deck, should such a thing be good in the future. Anyway, if you're buying this AP at this point in the game's cycle, I guess it's to mess around with Small Target or Minas Tirith Lamprite, but I don't know if I'd buy the AP just for that. Gondorian Discipline's good too, but again, just for those three cards, there's possibilities. And it could be if more Hobbit cards come out, you really want Hobbit Sense. That's a very real possibility. But if you're playing this game progression style with like a group of friends or something, or solo, and you're buying the cards, you probably, unless you really want to play every quest, you'd probably skip this one for now. But possibly have to come back to it later and pick it up if you wanted to play like a really good Hobbit deck, or if you really had trouble with quests and somehow Small Target or Minas Tirith Lamprite would help. It's possible. But I think this AP you could skip if you just want it for the cards for now. We'll see about later, but for now. Thanks for watching.